Welcome back to Talking Thailand.
Thailand from the inside out and outside in.
ร่วมมองประเทศไทยในมุมมองที่แตกต่างระดับโลกนะครับกับเรา Talking Thailand ทาง Voice TV นะครับท่านผู้ชมมีแขกรับเชิญ We have a guest Adam and Grace sitting between them is Mr. Stuart เจราชนะครับสวัสดีครับ
ครับสวัสดีครับ
โอ้โหคุณสตูart เจราชมาไหว้สวยมากนะฮะขอชื่นชมก่อนYou speak very fluent Thai
I use it every day
ไม่แต่ว่าคุณสตูart เรียนภาษาไทยจากอาดัมเหรอหรือยังไงฮะเนี่ย
ไม่จริงๆตรงกันข้ามเลยครับอดัมเรียนภาษาไทยจากสตูart นะ
วันนี้เราเชิญคุณสตูartมาเนี่ย we haveคุณเจราช with us and know what tell us a little bit about yourself because some of us know you but for the viewers we know you speak many languages
right
but you're now living in Thailand
yeah Thailand is home
yeah
I've been a resident here for a long time now and I came to Thailand about 17 years ago
What brought you here
when the monetary crisis in Indonesia happened I jumped back briefly to Australia and then over here to Thailand and this became home yeah
I wanted to talk to you about the use of many languages that you have come to learn over the past years in your everyday life because this is a show where we talk about the use of the English language the Thai language a couple of weeks ago the French language but you speak many languages
right so a polyglot I think the term the polyglot นี่เป็นคำใหม่นะครับเป็นคนที่พูดได้หลายภาษาก็เรียกว่า polyglot มากกว่า3ภาษาม
ากกว่า
3ภาษาขึ้นไป
3ภาษาขึ้นไปจริงๆแล้วกี่ภาษานะที่คุณสตูartพูดได้เนี่ย
How do you count them? But I guess that you would call fluent being able to speak like this. Probably about 15, 16, 16 ภาษาแต่ถ้าแบบเขียนได้อ่านได้แต่อาจจะไม่คล่องก็30ขึ้นไป
That is a truly amazing talent.
It's amazing.
I mean, how many people in the world can do this? Very few.
ก็แต่ตอนนี้มี which language do we use? we have a big polyglot community around the world is growing and growing. So I think I went on another TV show here back in 2007 originally and still the polyglot community wasn't there but after that you see more and more happening around the world. So now there are people that are learning 15, 20, 30 languages.
I read about, is it a Peruvian 12-year-old boy could learn 10 or so languages?
I haven't seen that one, but there are people, I get emails every day from people who have seen clips on YouTube or they're part of this and they're inspired. I had one university professor who was in Italy, he was a linguist. And he spoke languages, but he never knew he could do anything other than be ajan. And so he saw what I do with the languages, with companies and traveling around the world, and he quit his job as a professor.
Do you use it in your work? And if so, how? What line of work? Yeah.
Okay, so I for many years, I've been a Devakula, a trainer, originally with, I don't know if you know Dale Carnegie. And then I came out and I ran my own. So I'd go into companies, I don't know if I could say the companies' names, but multinational companies, small companies, UN agencies, governments, and first of all run training. But then they said, well, wait a minute, rather than you just sort of train our guys at the top, why don't we train you in our business and you can go in and be one of us with our people in China, in Malaysia, in Indonesia. And so this happened. If it's in oil and gas, they train me up in health and safety. If it's in modern trade, they train me up in the retail business. And then I go through to their local people on the ground, whether it's China, Indonesia, and supposing they're having problems or leadership training, or go in and find out what's going on. And we work with them to make themเข้ากันกับ
So would you say you're something of a go-between two languages and cultures? Because obviously when you learn a language, you learn the culture. So
you be that. I think my job you could probably call even like as well as เป็นวิทยากรเป็นการชน in Thai you would call it การชนระหว่างชาวต่างชาติเป็น buffer ระหว่างคนพื้นที่กับชาวต่างชาติหรือถ้าสมมติว่าเป็นบริษัทที่มีนโยบายต่างชาติเข้ามาทำยังไงให้มันเข้ากับวัฒนธรรมถิ่น
Because they won't understand it, so you're a great...
and it's not just their understanding. Supposing they think what a good leader is in the U.S. might be somebody who speaks their mind, that gets things done. Business is business, relationships are relationships, ก็แยกกันอยู่แต่ว่าเมืองไทยมันไม่ใช่ everything you have to look at. You've got pradet, prakun, for a good leader, and they have to think of the people as a family. And so to transpose the leadership from the US to Thai, you need something ที่จะเป็นการชน
So you have to be very sensitive to both cultures.
Yeah, and see what's happening. And the good thing about being a third party, when you go in there, and my deal is that supposing the Falang tell me to go in there and I'm listening to what's going on, the deal is, okay, I'll listen, but what goes through finally to the Falang management, it's what I think might be okay to go through. So พวกนี้ปลอดภัยพูดอะไรก็ได้แต่ไม่เป็นไรแต่ถ้าไม่อยากจะให้ไปถึงหูของชาวต่างชาติหรือเจ้านายก็ไม่ต้องห่วง
Yeah. So growing up, how did you learn so many languages? Is it something within your DNA? Are you born with this skill? I mean,
Your grandfather was a big inspiration to you, wasn't he?
My grandfather was amazing. So that's on the white side of my family. He spoke 13 languages, 11, 13
it
languages.
is in the DNA, I told you.
Well, he again.
Yeah.
Well, he says it's not. He says it's not just talent.
No,
yet.
but this is it. If you're a nakila, if you're somebody who plays sport really well, it's because you like it. My grandfather showed me, one, how the mouth works and how your body produces language, and then showed me how to look at meanings. And so, for example, I can give you an example.
Yeah.
If in Thai, okay, when I teach Thai, you've got this word kun and long. Okay, so I call them black words and white words. Kun is a white word. Long is a black word. I'll give you an example. If we say beautiful, I couldn't say to you, you are suoi long. I would have to say suoi kun, more beautiful, right?
That's
But
right.
suoi long doesn't make sense because suoi is something that is white. So kun is getting whiter and whiter. You can say suoi noi long, but noi is black.
That's right, that's right.
But this is a totally different concept than what we have in English. You just say pretty, prettier, prettiest.
Yes.
Big, bigger, biggest.
That's
And
right,
so
that's
when a foreigner comes in, they try and apply these principles from the mother tongue, and when that doesn't work, they say, oh, that's too hard.
So you have to know all the little intricacies of each of these languages to use them right.
Well, I don't know if it's just about knowing intricacies, it's putting another operating system down.
But how? Okay, so this operating system, you have a multi-operating system within yourself. Do you believe that normal people can learn to adapt
Totally.
languages like this?
I think
Totally.
you're talking
Yeah.
about losing your preconceptions of your own language.
Well, it's starting to
Because
think
another
out of language.
is
So from
different.
now on, instead of thinking, I need to add er to make prettier, soy kun. You don't have to think in English anymore. You just soy kun. What's kun? That's kun.
As you, when you understand the operating system, then you can think in that operating
You can
system.
feel in that system.
Okay.
But you must forget your own languages or you'll...
You're
be able
like-
to
Well, you're
learn
just
it
not
100%.
conscious of it as
Yeah.
you're speaking.
Yeah.
So if I'm speaking Thai ถ้าพูดภาษาไทยก็ทุกสิ่งทุกอย่างในตัวผมก็เกิดเป็นไทย
งั้นขอลองสักขนาดนั้นเลยฮะ
เปลี่ยนระบบเลยฮะ
เปลี่ยนระบบ
มีหลายระบบ
ขนาดนั้นเลยฮะ
ระบบอังกฤษ
if
ระบบ
you're speaking
ไทย
in
ระบบ
Indonesian,
จีน
all of my experience, everything that I've ever been speaking Indonesian, jadi kalau ngomong bahasa Indonesia, jadi ngomongnya begini, jadi semuanya lang saya pernah yang pernah saya ngomong bahasa Indonesia.
Wait, what is that?
So everything.
We should test it.
That's Indonesian.
If I speak if I speak Indonesian, so every experience that I've ever been in Indonesia, with my Indonesian families, or growing up, working, that's who I become when I speak.
All right. Let's
In Chinese,
Let's
it's the
do
same.
one sentence that he can just change
yeah, let's
into
do
a
that
bunch of...
because
What's a good sentence?
Indonesian is
Or we can, yeah, maybe we can just speak. So
ขออินโดนีเซียนิดนึงได้ไหมฮะเมืองไทยน่าอยู่ได้ไหม
เมืองไทยน่าอยู่ kalau tinggal di negara Thailand, bagus sekali.
Chinese how about Chinese
住在泰国非常非常好。
What you speak Chinese
And you can speak Danish as well.
Yeah, I taler dansk.
That's
Oh,
not
wait,
right this is
so
not
you
fair
speak Mandarin and Cantonese?
Những còn không nói yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah,
And sign
when I
language.
was that's signed English.
So
When I there's all different types
I
of
know,
sign
yeah.
language. With the Chinese, my grandfather spoke Mandarin, so I spoke more Mandarin, and then with my Indonesian surrogate family, they all speak Mandarin. But then later on, I came and I learned many different dialects, so Cantonese and different, they call them Fayan, so ภาษาถิ่นของประเทศจีน
You got Mandarin and you got other dialects that you can also
Cantonese.
Well, the beautiful
Wow.
thing, now the beautiful thing in China is if you go and you look at they call it 上古汉语 and 中国汉语, the old Chinese, you can trace the same system that we have Thai if you go to 12 วรรณา. And all these, I've actually got lists out on the internet there, hundreds of words you can see the same roots. And so all the wanayuk, everything we have in Thai, it's the same system.
Let's ask this question. What's one of the biggest, for our foreign viewers out there,
Yeah.
what's one of the biggest obstacles for a foreigner learning Thai? Obviously, maybe it depends on what their native tongue is, but let's just say their native tongue is English.
Okay, so if you're a foreigner learning Thai, the first thing is you're thinking in English. And so as soon as I say, you hear somebody say Falang, they might write down F-A-R-A-N-G. And that's fine when they look at they've just heard somebody say Falang. But then look at, I speak Australian English, you speak American. So I say can't, you say can't.
Yeah. Oh,
I
that was
say
good.
Falang, you say Farang.
Farang.
And so then when the guy goes home and he reads F-A-R-N-G, if he's come, he'll say, oh, Farang. And so one of the main things is separating yourself from your mother tongue sound system and getting straight into the sound system, having it live in your body.
like you inherit a different soul.
Yeah, it's
to
like
belong to that
Pi Khao.
culture. Like Grace, when Grace speaks Thai, she has this Thainess like placed on her. It's almost like you have to get into it. Okay. Okay. So now, what's happening with you now? You're living here. You're doing work here, and you're enjoying life as a multilinguist.
Yeah, well, I live that, and we've just actually launched and launching the new version of it is an online learning academy.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, well, it's going to be for everybody. So hopefully later you and anybody else who loves language or has anything that wants to teach, you can use this as a vehicle to teach it. But I've put all my stuff that I've done over the years for language that normally I would do face-to-face. Now we have the amazing tools to make interactive learning. So you make apps and all these things. And so we've done that. And we've launched a platform where you can come in and learn the Thai operating system. You can call it Thai OS if you like.
Yes.
Instead of running the EOS, the English operating system, learn the Thai operating system. So then when you speak, have you ever heard, like many Falang, when they learn Thai, they give up because they say, I thought I said it right, but they say they don't understand me. And so
Same happens with Thai people learning English.
learning English,
Yeah.
Thai people will say Lin Kang. But I don't believe that Lin Kang.
Yeah.
It's just because everything that you've learned from a kid on the operator, like the word chopping, ใช้ชอช้าง and then ปิ้ง ไม่โท เป็นอักษรกลาง ไม่โท ก็เป็นปิ้ง so you always think that it's chopping, and when somebody says shopping, what you've learnt it is filtered out. So what we do is putting that new OS down, so then you can speak it more like the เจ้าของภาษา
This is a website or is it a
J Academy. So my name's Jay, Stuart J Raj. So
Is it
everyone knows me.
jacademy.com?
So it's like the word academy with the A changed to a J. So it's jacademy.com.
jacademy.com. Okay, and
Do you
people can
have a
check it out.
favourite language?
It depends what I'm thinking in. Like passionate Spanish.
You can speak Spanish.
Sí, hablo español.
Oh wow.
So is Thai not passionate for you?
Yeah, Thai is passionate in another way.
This is very.
Politics.
This is
Yeah.
like
Politics.
sexy. This gives you an advantage when you're like trying to ask a woman out. You go
He's
in
married.
all of these countries. It's
Right.
cool.
So I
is
bet you
cool.
get this question all the time. I even get it. What language do you dream in? For me, the answer is I dream in the language that if I meet a Thai person,
You're
I'm
talking
speaking
to.
Thai. Yeah. So is that how it is for you?
I had a bizarre dream a couple of nights ago where I was speaking in Thai, and in the dream I was trying to ask somebody what the word in English was for this, and finally remembered. So
Yeah, it's all over the place.
and sometimes, because like say this kun long thing, sometimes it's just even about thinking in meanings. So it's an amazing liberation to be able to think without words.
All right.
So you've even used your language and cultural understanding for humanitarian causes, because I saw you on Al Jazeera. You've done some work involving human trafficking.
That's right.
tracing.
Well, not human.
Well-
This one is people smuggling.
Or people smuggling,
And
okay.
so, because there's a difference. If it's trafficking, mainly they're making money off of their labor. People smuggling, people who want to go. So this one, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, there are many people from Afghanistan, Iran that want to get through to Australia. They pay up to $40,000 per person to go to Australia. The last little person that gets on a boat, they go and get these kids, they're Chao Pamong, and they get the 14, 15-year-old kid in Indonesia and they say, oh, we've got some tourists, take them on your boat. And then they say, you meet our friend. The friend happens to be the Australian Navy. And then they got put in jail for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So what my partner and I would do, we'd go through Indonesia and we would go to these kids' family who were sitting in maximum security prisons in Australia and find out how they were recruited by the gangs.
So they're being exploited and they're underage and probably
they end up in prison.
Help. Yeah.
And their families get $300 from these people who are paying $40,000 to get to Australia. And
so they're big criminals, these people smugglers, are they?
Well, yeah, the people smuggling rings are very profitable, very powerful that go through here. And so I would go into the villages in the deepest parts of Indonesia, find their families, find out how they were recruited, get their birth certificates to prove their age, that they were under 18, and we got released, I think, over 25 cases in the Supreme Court.
So that's when language can really make a difference.
Yeah. Many roles you can play in society. We thank you very much, Khun Stuart Jay from J Academy. You can check him out on the website and ขอบคุณมากนะครับ
ขอบคุณมากครับ
ขอบคุณมากนะครับพักกันสักครู่ครับ We'll take a short break. I can only speak 2 languages. We'll come back with more of Talking Thailand.
For more information on my online Cracking Thai Fundamentals program, visit jacademy.com/courses and click on Cracking Thai Fundamentals. It's a Thai operating system for your mind.